Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Star Agent Starco Gaming here, back with another Marvel Future Fight video. Guys, in this video we're going to take a look at this fella, Sunbird, one of the Warrior of the Sky, the actually paywall of this update. So we're going to take a look at him and see if he can actually perform in the wall boss ultimate. That's pretty much what we want to see, what most people want to see, if it's worth actually investing into it. But before we get into that, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to enable the bell next to the subscribe button to get notified when I post a new video. Go live with a live stream. We stream every Friday, Saturday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, and we do have crystal giveaway in every single stream. Also, guys, if you want to play Marvel Future Fight on PC, make sure to check the description down below and click on the link next to play Marvel Future Fight on PC. So, Sunbird, the big question, the mega question people are going to be asking is he worth a mega rank up ticket, a mega tier 2 ticket? In my opinion, no. Definitely no, because those we want to save them for characters like Namers that becomes a meta along the way. Luna Snow, you know, those kind of characters, they do deserve a mega tier 2 ticket, a mega rank up ticket, but characters that it's not going to be a meta for anything, because Flash News, Sunbird is not even the strongest characters of this update, so he is definitely not worth the mega rank up ticket and the mega tier 2 ticket. Well, mega rank up ticket, if you got a bunch of them, you know, that's fine, but the mega tier 2 ticket, definitely not. It is not worth items that's worth $79 to put on the characters like that. Just get a BO sub if you really want him. Be patient, pay $8.99 for the BO sub, use a rank up ticket to get him to 6 stars, and that's already what is worth. He's not worthy of more than that. Personally, I did use a mega tier 2 ticket because I got a test content for you guys, and to be honest, I'm not really happy about this one. I wish I actually saved it, but I got a test content, so I don't really have a choice if I want to make those videos, guys. But anyway, he is a little bit disappointing if we compare to Blue Dragon we actually reviewed yesterday. Is definitely very far from the power of Blue Dragon. He's pretty much close in power to actually War Tiger, which is sad, because War Tiger is actually totally free to play characters versus paywall characters. In my opinion, paywall characters should have a little edge, not to be a meta, but a little edge in you know, in content like Wall Boss Ultimate. Actually, people I know who did test in Shadowlands 60 plus all the Warrior of the Sky, they told me that Sunbird was actually the characters that performed the less in Shadowlands, which is actually very disappointing. But does that make him a bad character? Not at all, guys. Not at all. He is a pretty decent character. He's about, from a initial testing, is about the same power level than Slapstick was in the previous update, which Slapstick was actually pretty decent power. So it's still pretty decent characters. It's just that you know, don't expect at level 60 to be able to do Proxima 70 plus with him. You're gonna be doing Proxima 60 to 65 if you have a normal obelisk on him, maybe a little bit higher if you put a judgment. It might be able to do a little bit better with the judgment or the rage, but not that much higher in my opinion. Personally, I got a normal obelisk with a good proc, and that's what we're going to be using for this video. Anyway, we're going to take a look at the build, guys, what we're running with, then we're going to jump into Wall Boss Ultimate. We're going to test him out against Proxima, pretty much Proxima 60, see how fast he can do Proxima 60, and also we're going to test him out against a Body Moss 60 to see if he can actually get the job done there too. I know that a Bunny Moss 70, he's not able to do it. I tested him. I tested him against Proxima 70. I can never even get 5 bars down. That was actually pretty damn sad. I tested him in the PvP. He cannot last. He lasts very a short time in PvP. Blue Dragon was actually doing pretty decent in PvP. Actually, Blue Dragon was able without Garbage Immunity, she was able to take down Silver Surfer, level 60 Silver Surfer, obviously. And my Blue Dragons was level 60. That revive really helped her from the team up, but that's the only one in the trio you want to bring together, which is lead Blue Dragon with team up of Sunbird and Shadow Shell. She was the only one that was actually warded them in there, so they might do a decent Island Conquest team, but forget about Timeline Battle, forget about Islands Tournament. It's pretty much going to be Island Conquest team if you actually care about PvP for those characters. So definitely not recommending those this character specifically for PvP in my opinion. Anyway, let's get started with the build here, guys. We have max cooldown, maxing your defense. We have critical damage, cap 2. Critical rate is 57%. Max attack speed. We have 17,581 physical attack. He has his own leadership, which means he has 6% attack speed. So you definitely see a very low physical attack. We actually put, for example, Blue Dragon as a lead. Let me go find her if I can. That's always pretty difficult. There we go. We got so many characters. If we actually put Blue Dragon as a lead, we get up to about 25,101 physical attack. So it's actually not that bad. That's actually the lead we're going to be using. Oh, I removed the wrong character. The lead we're going to be using when we test him out in PvP, definitely. And by the way, guys, that's the actual team for in World Boss Ultimate. I mean, this is the actual trio you want to use if you want to use them in Island Conquest, because they complete each other perfectly. Now, let's get back to this fella. So we check the stats. Hero, we have pretty solid build. You know, 2 mythical physical attack hero per gear. We have a bunch of critical rate. We have in your defense, and then we have a little bit of HP just to a couple HP just to put his character grow a little bit higher, because HP is the one thing that gives you the best rank when you look at the rank of a character. Definitely. If we look at the ESO set by the stage 6 in effects of Power of Angry Hulk, so we get all attack, all defense, critical rate 8.5%, attack speed 7.7%, your defense 8.1%, activation rate 12% chance when attacking, plus 20% increase of all attack for 20 seconds with a cooldown time of 60 seconds. Custom gear, we have a double critical damage plus procs, so plus 180% proc, so it's definitely not a bad obelisk. Could be better. Could have a fire damage plus crit damage plus proc. That will be a little bit better. Might be able to perform a little bit better, but it's hard to get that kind of obelisk. To be totally honest, this is a decent obelisk. You know, most people will not put a CTP of him. They're just gonna put a regular obelisk, and I think that will give him you know, decent testing in my opinion. If we look at the skills, the one thing that in my opinion sucks with this guy is that it does not have anything interesting as a passive buff. You know, no critical rate, no increased attack. I think that's what hurt him the most. If they actually had on the either 5th skill or 4th skill, you know, increase all attack by 20%, critical rate by 20%, speed by 5%, that will totally fix this character's, literally fix this characters, which eventually we're gonna get through the 6 skills eventually along the way, but you gotta spend so much to get that 6th skill going that I don't think it's worth it to get him to that point, because most of the other Warrior of the Sky, they do get all attack on one of the skills and critical rate, and then they do get all those bonus stats on the skill number 6 too. So I think they they forgot to put some stuff on this guy to make him as good as a Blue Dragon, for example. Anyway, enough talking about that. Let's take a look at those passive skills. First passive skill, when dead, apply to Warrior of the Skies, revive with 50% max HP with a cooldown time of 300 seconds, and that cooldown applied to the character that get revived. So if all 3 characters die at the same time, they are next, like within 5 seconds of each other, they all gonna revive. It's 300-second cooldown per character. So it's a very, very, very OP for Alien Conquest, definitely. If we look at his tier 2 passive, we have increased guaranteed dodge by 30%, increased fire damage by 20%, 25% chance to increase critical damage by 100% on critical attack, and his leadership as a Tau Courier, terrible leadership, increase all speed by 6%. Who give a crap about that, right? Skills here, we have the 5th skill. He does get invincibility on this skill. He does get fire resistance down, which is pretty nice. But see, all the rest on his skills is useless, especially against World Boss Ultimate. It's going to be good against Shadowland, definitely, but against World Boss Ultimate, what I'm going to do with burn damage, bleed damage, and stun, that does not apply to World Boss Ultimate, so it kind of sucks. The 4th skill is, it's nice. The 4th skill is actually the CC. It's going to paralyzes the World Boss Ultimate for 2 seconds, which can actually increase your survivability, because you're going to end up with about 2 seconds that you have no survivability skills available. So by using this skill in the last 2 seconds after your invincibility from the skill number 5 disappear, when there's like 3-second cooldown left on your 5th skill, you're going to use your 4th skill so you can actually get that paralysis and actually make sure you stay alive, because he is very, very squishy. If you get hit, you are dead, so you got to be very, very careful with that rotation. Then we got a 3rd skill. 3rd skill again, burn damage and stun, amazing in Shadowland, terrible in the World Boss Ultimate. 2nd skill, defense, fire resistance decrease up to 30%, work on World Boss Ultimate. This is great. Then you get 5% recovery on max HP. It's nice, but it doesn't make up for the damage you take if you actually take a hit. And then we have burn damage, amazing in Shadowland, totally worthless in World Boss Ultimate again. And the 1st skill, nothing special. We got bleed damage, amazing in Shadowland, totally worthless in World Boss Ultimate. So you see the pattern here, guys. He has a lot of damage over time, a lot of CC, but all those things don't work on the World Boss Ultimate. So definitely when you actually jump into a Alien Conquest where you fight the team that does not have debuff removal, he's gonna be amazing. When you jump in Shadowland where you know, you can apply all those damage over time and all those CC on the characters, this is gonna be amazing. But sadly, paying $9, well, 1 or twice, depending if you get a rank up ticket with him, to get these characters to tier 2, just to play him in Shadowland, no thank you. No freaking thank you, guys. I don't think that is a good investment in my personal opinion. It's not even going to be a good striker because he only applies 40%. Well, I don't know what skill you use as a striker, but for example, if he actually uses 5th skill, he only apply 40% fire resistance down. 40% is too low to be counted as a striker, so he cannot be a striker. He cannot be a top career for World Boss Ultimate. He is squishy in PvP. He's not gonna be a meta for Alliance Battle Extreme, so that basically leave Shadowland status for this character. But still, we're gonna go showcase him a little bit in Challenge World Boss Ultimate here. Obviously, we're gonna start by trying to push stage 60 on this guy 70. I could not get it done by any means necessary, so we're gonna definitely going to go on this one. We're gonna bring this team here. There we go. We get 65% increase of all attack plus debuff removal. So yes, I could go with Satana, but that will just give me like 70% fire damage increase, so the difference will not be enough. And plus, I will not have the debuff removal if I actually go with Satana Elite, so I much prefer to have this leadership. And as a strikers, we're gonna go with that that, and that. I believe, nope, that's not what I want. I want to remove this one for this one, I believe so. Yeah, so that's the setup of strikers. We're gonna go. We got 1 CC, we got 3 defense down, 2 defense down, 1 CC, and 2 characters when attack, which is supposed to be the best setup. Apparently, that's what Reddit says. So we try to follow it as much as you guys want, because if I don't do that, I get millions of, well, not millions of people, but tons of people that start trashing my videos. So let's just do it that way, so people, you know, shut up about it, pretty much. Personally, my own testing, it's my usual setup works better. So yeah, I totally started with the wrong rotation. The proc is actually quite hard to get sometimes, so it's not optimal. Obviously, he's doing physical damage, so it is definitely not optimal. Definitely not optimal against this guy. But again, if you take in comparison, if you actually take what is named Namer is a physical attacker too, and he actually kicks ass in here. So you can see here with this striker setup, this is terrible. This is terrible. I was actually doing better with my old striker setups, but people keep telling me I will be doing better with this setup here. So I'm trying to prove my point a little bit. Actually, I was going faster on stage 70 with my regular strikers, which the first 5 you actually saw my list earlier. So I'm trying to get the proc on the 5th skill. Pretty much. I'm still debating on if the 3rd skill, the 4th skill does more damage, but honestly, I just don't feel like any of his skill really does a lot of damage, because it's basically a damage over time that he does. So it's pretty much just damage from the strikers that's happening, at least here. Okay, so before we get hit here, we're gonna switch. Oh, I hate when it goes crazy like that. It's like the game loses its mind. Okay, so let's go with this 5th skill here. Hey, we got cancel. Thank you, man. You can see we get a proc on that skill this time, and did not do that much damage. Proc on the 5th skill, pretty much no damage here. The 3rd skill is not doing bad. Well, now it's strikers are coming in. They're pretty much doing all the damage. So I guess you see the pattern here. Strikers do damage. This character does not do the damage. That's pretty much what's happening. It's only a stage 60. Even Deadpool, who does literally no damage by himself to this guy, can actually clear a body mass 60 without too much problem. So that kind of gives you the idea of how disappointing this is there. Now if we go Proxima 60 here, that's most likely going to be the kill that we're going to attempt here. I'm gonna go with my regular strikers, because I think I proved my point. If I did not, well, I don't care. We're gonna go with my regular strikers here. For most characters, I do have different setup for strikers on certain characters like Deadpool, Doctor Strange, a totally different striker set. But for most of my characters, this is the setup I like to go, and this is the setup that performed well for me, that performed the best for me usually. So here we go. Let's see how this is gonna go. So we're gonna start with the 5th skill. There, it's pretty much defense down. That's strikers that's working here. This not really is damage. Still a little bit of is damage, but not that much. So stage 60 is not that bad. It's close to the power level that Slapstick had, but Slapstick had an advantage. He had damage from himself, which was a really nice thing that this guy does not have here. You can see even when I get a proc on one, my skill, my 3rd skill, my 4th skill, still don't get pretty good damage. If we get a proc on the 5th skill here, you can see there's not much coming on either way. And you can see the healing does not do that much either. So it's a little bit disappointing. Like nowadays, a character should be able to do a stage 60. Paywall characters should be able to do a stage 60 in about 3 minutes. That will be my objective, to be honest. When I spend $8 on the characters, $9 on the characters, that's what I want from that character, to be honest. That is all I want from that character. I don't want a character to be below that in the timer, which definitely this guy does not reach the timer, obviously. And you see the spike is really only when we get a good defense down. When we don't get a good defense down, the damage spike is terrible. The bar moves so freaking slow. Now, obviously, if we had a CTP of Judgment, CTP of Rage, maybe a double fire damage plus proc, or fire damage plus critical damage plus proc, that could actually be a little bit better. But still, we see the potential with the normal obelisk. It's disappointing. Everybody I talk to are actually telling me the same thing. This character's is disappointing for them. So I'm guessing I'm not the only one feeling like that. And I was told that he is very squishy to Evan and Shadow, and you have to be very, very, very careful if you want him to survive. Okay, so we got a transition. We're not doing that bad. No, obviously I would like to be that kind of doing that kind of damage on the floor 60, but on the floor 70, I mean, but that's not the case. And at least if he dies, he actually has a revive, so that gives him, you know, something extra, but not enough. Not enough, in my opinion, to actually be worth investing in him, to be honest. So basically, what you're gonna get, guys, if you invest into this character is, well, first, if you want to get one of the other Warrior of the Sky to tier 2.5, unlock the 6 skills on those characters, you need to get all the Warrior of the Sky to level 60. So you will have to get him up for that. Then if you want another Shadowland characters, that's where you're going to be using him, and that is pretty much it. And a little bit in Online Conquest for people who actually care Online Conquest, but that pretty much sums it. So I'm trying to trigger the proc here. He doesn't want to get triggered either. This is terrible, man. That fifth skill actually lasts quite long, so it is very nice, though, for survivability wise. And you can see we're not really taking damage when we're using the proper skill, which is actually pretty nice. And we do have a great CC on this skill, which is actually quite useful. You can see the fourth skill, we'll get a proc on that fourth skill, and I barely did enough damage. But personally, I'm just expecting so much more from him. Obviously, at level 70, with, you know, is 6 skills level up, it could probably do up to Proxima 70. But if you're gonna put that much, it's like if you're gonna get characters to tier 3, because that's pretty much a process to get these characters up with his 6 skills up to the max level. You're gonna have to invest into him like you invest into a tier 3 characters, mean gear 25, level 70, and then spend CCF in the Awakening Crystal. So you invest a lot to get a characters that can only do Proxima 70. No, you want a characters that you invest that much to be able to do a Proxima 80 plus like Namer does, or that kind of stuff. So personally, I'm not a big fan, guys. I'm not even going to test him in Giant Boss Raid, because without his level 70 and his Awakened skill, definitely that's impossible to do anything in a GBR. We're not even going to argue about that, especially that Master Mold randomly could become immune to the element he's getting attacked by. So yeah, definitely not optimal against this guy. So final thought, guys, I'll say that getting him to 6 stars, the level 60, just if you want to awaken in another of the Warrior of the Sky, is totally worth it. Other than that, as a whole characters, if you haven't bought the BO sub yet, or if you're wondering if you should use a mega tier 2 ticket on him, in my opinion, Definitely not. Anyway, if you guys had any different experience testing these characters with different build or all that, please make sure to let me know in the comment section down below so I can actually take it in consideration for when I prepare my next tier list, guys. And for recommending these characters, if he's actually good and I'm just terrible at building, and we never know. I'm not perfect. I'm not God. Although I wish I was. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to drop a like on this video to show your support to the channel. And on that, I will see you next time.